Yo, 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 what's up, YouTube fam? Welcome back to another recap video with your boy Steve-O. Um, Today I'm gonna be going over my trades from this past week. Today's Saturday, February 25th. So Monday market was closed, so I'm gonna be going over Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And this one that you're seeing here on the screen right now is Arbe. This one was a trade from Tuesday. Um, so yeah, let's get into it. Let me show you. Okay, so first I kind of wanted to go over what what I see during pre-market, the pre-market chart to make me understand and help me what potentially can happen at the open. So with Arbe, the reason why I liked this one was because it had a nice trend, nice clean trend, nice clean price action. The levels were pretty spot on, and I don't know. I think it was Arbe and then Mob, which I'm gonna be going over next after this one. I traded on Tuesday, but so Arbe was one of them and then Mob was the other one. So with Arbe, you had your pre-market high and then you had this trend here, 15-minute trend, which it retested for the first time right here, right before the open. So with this one, I think my plan was to look for a bounce or a reclaim off this trend for a potential push into 720s, 770s pre-market high. But seeing that it was already breaking down here near the open, I was like, I don't like that I didn't like that it was already, it had gone from 770 and then it was already all the way down near 6 out the open. So at that point I kind of ignored it, but then I think that's when I focused on Mob. But then you can see afterward, like 15-30 minutes later, this thing had this spike all the way over into 760s, which that's where I ended up exiting my position. Here, I'll show you my actual day trade of this day. So yeah, you can see here how right at the open they broke below support, consolidated, trap shorts probably, wicked over this previous resistance zone. That became support, and I ended up going long here because I saw this retest of that same 675 level. It just kept retesting there. And then seeing that it had made this high a day over here at 690, but then you still had 720 and 770, I felt like it was going to do one of those high a day squeeze outs if you were short all this whole time, and then now finally that it sets a top and it's using that as a resistance. Shorts probably had their stop out there, therefore creating this squeeze effect once it broke over that 690, and ended up going all the way up to 725 right here in this green, 750s, psychological level, half dollar level. But yeah, I mean, once I pretty much got long here, I was just risking this previous low at this point. And then, as soon as it just ripped up, I just started selling it. And I was like, oh, okay, done. But I had originally located to look for a short, right? But I wanted to see it over 7 first out the open. But now that it once it did this move over here, this spike, and then fail, that to me was like a fake out breakout. Like there was never a real bid. It was just shorts getting squeezed and then finally backside, and then broke the trend right here. This little trend that it was making. Covered, and at that point I just kind of called it. You know, that was previous support. Got out of previous support. So that was Arbe, the Arbe trade. So you can see on the bigger time frame what it looks like. It reclaims this top wick, which that was the idea here. Seeing the breakout on the top wick, selling into this push, and then you have this second top wick which also rejected. You can see how well they respected that 720 line. Failed to hold that support after it broke out over here. Just went back under, and then that became one of the pre-market resistances. And then same here, used those resistances, broke out, failed, mean reverted back into the trend, broke under the trend, stayed below it rest of the day. So that was pretty much Arbe. The next one was Mob on the same day. Yeah. Oh. Mob. Where the heck is? Here, we'll just put this one. Mob. Here's Mob. Let me just fix this real quick for you. Oh, see, I already got the thingamajiggas. Pretty self-explanatory here a little bit, I guess. This one I also saw during pre-market. You know, you can see it made a 100% move, 155 to 305 about. It was up on some news, I don't even know, but just like seeing, you know, the chart and how that 100% move, like that instantly there's gonna be something. So the first thing in my head, I'm thinking, let's look for a pre-market high retest, right? But obviously it started failing here, and I'll show you guys the trend that it was respecting. So when I'm trading these charts and I'm looking at the EMA, I want to see which trend it's mainly trending on during pre-market, which in this case, you can see here, this was the 5-minute trend. See how the 5-minute trend, it was holding or barely retested it, just like in the previous example. The 15-minute trend was holding it, but then it broke below. In this case, so the 5-minute trend was my support gauge until it broke below it. So I was basically looking to see if this thing would either bounce, and then on that bounce, if it just fails, it rejected that 270 top over here, and then this little move right here where it breaks out over 270. This is what I call a stop hunt for shorts, but then traps longs on this move. So you go back down, but then now everybody's holding below that support. So then you have right here, you got shorts and longs selling their position because it's now breaking that pre-market support, and then it breaks below the trend, opens and closes below it, retests, fails, goes lower, retest, fails, then goes lower, and ends up back at 2 from 270s. So that's what, like 20 to 30% retracement. So if you see the 15-minute trend, you could have used that as a gauge for your target as a target. So you can see right here, it mean reverted back to the 15-minute trend, which during pre-market it was over here near 216, so it stayed basically 220s. So if you're short 250 and above, and you know that it can mean revert to 220, then as long as you're scaling in between 250 to 280 zone, and then wait for the fail breakdown, and then as soon as it mean reverts back to that trend, that's where you can find your exit, basically. So now let me show you guys that chart, my mobbing chart. If you're in the Discord, you probably already saw it, but obviously, you know, you guys probably want to see this as well. And if you're interested in joining the Discord, I'll post the link down below so you guys can join it for freezies. Now let me just, if I can find this chart here, let me just find out. I'm just gonna look in the Discord where we post all of our charts. All right, let's see right here. One momento. I don't know why it's a little bit laggy this morning, but yeah, let's see. Mob. Oh, here we go. Exact same chart. Sort of. So you can see how I just kept attacking it into that 270 at first, because it bounced off the 5-minute trend, and then I started attacking it, and I was willing to, you know, scale up maybe all the way up to 30. But then the volume out the open, it was just weaker, and right away it like trapped over that 270 again. And as soon as it was gonna fail below the 250, I told myself, just scale in now. So at this point, once I'm scaled in full size, now it's safe to just set my risk above that high day, because I'm already into too much. So I have to force myself to risk whatever that high is. But then at this point, you know, once it just flushes all the way down there, I just start covering most of it at 230, because it was just kind of consolidating there for a while. So I didn't want to, you know, I just wanted to take my profit and get out. At the same time, I was still in the other trades, so I didn't want to do too much. It ended up flushing a little bit lower after that, but using the 15-minute trend as my gauge, that was a realistic target, basically. All right, next one. Then we got Llap, LLAP. I think I traded that one Wednesday on day 1 and on day 2. Yeah, see right here. So day one, same thing. This one, you can see here how. Alright, hold on. I'll show you guys the better diagram. Let me just pull it out on the Discord, because otherwise I'm gonna have to keep retyping another ticker. So I ended up trading. Oh, wait. Mob. Oh wait, I forgot. No, wait, Cing was yesterday. Oh yeah, LLAP. So on this day, this was the trade. Made a big move to the upside. You see it was at 189. Went all the way up to 376. Pretty big move there, but then they just started fading it down all of pre-market. So here my idea was maybe we get a pop into that previous top here, 320, 340 for a short. I ended up slamming it here at that obvious pre-market support where it just felt, it was just way too heavy right here, because it just kept making lower lows and it was struggling to stay above that 290. So I just ended up, continuing to add up to my position at this point, even though it was just heavy. And then once I was in all the way, I was just risking above 3. Got the move to 270 to 260s, which was probably near the bigger, right here, 30-minute trend. So you can see here, same idea, 30-minute and then the 1 hour. So when it's hanging up here, it's like it has room to fall onto the 30-minute, and then it has room to fall onto the 15-minute right there. So that was easily the target. But then we start to see this 15-minute trend reclaim. So typically you get this big red, a green, and then this third one should be a red one. But the fact that it turned green and then it broke, so you see how it broke, the fourth one ended up breaking above this top and this top, and then finally this top. So it kind of like squeezed everybody out for this secondary move into the 340s, top of that wick over here, top of this wick over here. Then this became kind of like a resistance zone, mean reverted back into the trend. So that was that day. And then I traded again on this day. Didn't have as much range as I really liked, but I figured it's day 2. How's it gonna match this day's volume of 177 million shares? But the other thing too, it has a thicker float, so it technically only rotated its float like a little bit over 2 times, but still, for a thicker float like that, that's a lot of volume still. So this one kind of had the same thing here. It broke down right out the open, and then it squeezed over high a day, like middle of the day kind of thing. But then it's kind of faded back down. I ended up catching the short right here in this move, which I'll show you that one real quick here. Where's the matrix? So yeah, I mean, it didn't have that much range as I wanted to, like on the trade that day, but I caught, a good piece of the move. So it was more like a nail and bail kind of day, I guess. If I put it in a certain way, I would say that was. So this was my trade on this day. I kind of scaled into it once it went red, and then it had this nice bounce here back near VWAP, and then as that failed, I started scaling in right here with more size near 3, and then I just waited for it to go back under red, made new lows, and then pretty much just covered the rest into that under 282, which was the support right here for pre-market. So pretty much all this is my cover zone, which then again would have been a good dip buy and then sell into this rip. And then last but not least, I think that one, Llap. So Llap, that was Thursday. And then Friday we had Cing. This one Pretty simple. You can see 30-minute trending here. At first, I didn't really like it because of the range. It was kind of like, it was I mean, it made a 100% move, 110 to 220, right? But I just didn't like it because it was kind of more consolidating here on this 30-minute trend. But this was my trade on it, basically. So I ended up going long first under 175, sold it into the 185, 190, 195, right near this resistance. I was thinking it would go over 2, which was my initial plan. Over under 2 for a short, back under 190s, 180s, 170s, maybe 160s. Once this long, once I exited my long position, I flipped short, and then basically 175 became new resistance, and as soon as it broke down, just covered the rest there into the 160s. Pretty simple, I guess. When you look at the bigger time frames, it gives you a little bit more. Like, I was looking at this 15-minute trend. Noticed how it reclaimed here, but then this next bar basically is all red and gives that whole entire bar back, bounces into this trend line here, or trend, fails, makes the new low, pops back up, fails again, holds this support, and then at the end of the day you get the breakdown under that 160. Again, not the best range, but it was more of a nail and bail again. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this week's recap, this week's trades. If you guys have any questions, hit me up, post a comment down below, catch me in the Discord, sign up, the link will be in the description. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.